Hi, this is Charlie with Hellhound's Run, and I've got another story for you tonight from the Hellhound universe and from our dear old beloved bartender Dave. This one's called Tim the Cursed, and I hope you enjoy it. My name's Dave, and I'm the bartender here at the Hellhound Bar. Hopefully, by now, you've heard some of my stories, and now you're back for more. This next story is a little different, so I hope you'll hold on with me. This is a different tale for the bar. Of all the crazy things I've seen, this one guy just broke my heart. It was another quiet, lonely day in the bar. Wanda had wandered in for a few minutes looking for a hookup before she stormed out, hiking up her leopard skin skirt. I really hoped what I had seen under it had been underwear. Please let it be underwear. Other than that, the day seemed normal. Come to think of it, every day seems like every other day, really. The only difference seems to be the chaos the patrons bring with them. This day was different. I had just finished bringing up supplies from the basement when the door opened. I looked up in dread, wondering what nightmarish hell monster was coming in now. But it wasn't, at least not at first glance. In walked an average dude, 6 foot or so, normal beard, blonde hair, and dressed in a rather dapper suit. He walked up to the bar and sat staring into the mirror behind the bar. The mirror creeped me out, honestly. Sometimes it seemed like the reflection moved on its own. Or maybe things were looking back out at you. Who knew? I walked over and asked, "What do you have?" "Vodka, if you have it," he responded. His voice was normal with a deep southern tang to it, that rolling country sound you can only get if you lived there all your life. As distinctive as a Bostonian in its own way. "One vodka coming up," I said, retrieving a bottle from behind the bar and pouring for him. I was just so glad to have a normal customer for once. I was all but giddy to not have to be in fear for my life or my soul. It was refreshing to not feel existential dread or the doom of the universe while pouring a drink. The blond man stared at the shot for a minute before gently picking it up and throwing it back. "Thank you, sir. May I please have another?" the man asked. "Sure," I said and poured a second shot. I managed not to comment on the loose David Copperfield reference that floated through my mind. Maybe I was getting smarter? Nah. He picked it up and then looked me in the eyes. Dude had normal eyes too. Today was my lucky day. "So, what's your name?" I asked. I had to admit I was kind of excited. I was finally going to get to talk to a normal human. It had been a while between tentacle men, cursed hunters, demons, and whatever the owner was. "I'm Tim, and you are?" "My name's Dave, and I bartend here," I said before realizing I sounded like a moron again. That was really a bad habit. Why did I do that? Was I campaigning for Village Idiot? "I can see that," he said with a laugh, "and I'm a grateful soul." The man reached into his pocket and pulled out a few gold coins in a red velvet bag. He placed 2 coins on the bar and asked, "Will you please keep them coming?" "Sure," I said, probably sounding like a happy puppy. "So what's in the bag?" I asked. He mumbled inquisitively. His mouth was full of vodka again. "The red velvet bag you had with the coins," I explained. He looked confused for a moment before pulling the bag back out of his pocket and holding it up for me to see. "This is what's known as a mojo hand, though really it's a gree-gree," he said rather quietly. Why did I feel like this conversation was about to go bad? Gree-gree are charms mostly, for luck or love or other things, he continued. "But this one is special," he said. "What makes it special?" I asked. I didn't want to know. I really didn't want to know. Damn it, he was supposed to be normal like me. Wait, was I normal? Before I could think about that, he continued. "This doesn't contain a charm. This contains my curse," he said. Just kind of deadpan, he talked about being cursed, like it was an everyday occurrence. "Your curse?" I stammered. Damn it. The guy wasn't normal after all. Why me? What terror or horrible death would this guy bring into my life? Tentacles weren't enough? "I'm known as Tim, the cursed one," he said flatly. "You see, I loved the wrong woman, and when she destroyed me, I sought an end to the pain. But instead, things worked out in another way." Tim rocketed back another shot of vodka before placing the shot glass back on the bar. I sighed heavily. "Fine, just fine," I said, suddenly defeated. I drug a small stool over and perched behind the bar to listen. Normal was too much to hope for, and the gerbils in my head were hardened at this point, so I might as well listen. The owner hated the stool, but I didn't care anymore. I'd almost died or went mad too many times. "Lay it on me," I said with a sigh. Tim looked at me for a minute, fiddling with the bag. He downed another shot and said, "A few years ago I was in love with this girl named Allie. She wasn't particularly attractive, but I thought she was a good woman and I tried to love her and make her happy. She was the horribly jealous type, and any time a woman even looked in my direction, she would make my life hell. She would constantly accuse me of cheating and lying. After about 4 years, she dumped me. I found out later she dumped me on the way to see the man she had been cheating on me with for months. I was devastated, just broken. Even after we broke up, she continued to harass me. She ruined my birthday, standing in my front yard screaming at me, screaming that I was a liar and a cheater. The last straw was when she broke into my house and tried to assault me while I was sleeping. I just couldn't take it anymore, so I went to see a friend who was a witch. He paused here and laid the bag on the bar, staring at it without seeing it. Man, that's rough, I said, and honestly felt for the guy. The whole conversation obviously caused him a lot of pain. No one ever believed men could be abused too. I was abused daily in this bar, but at least my abusers weren't anyone I loved. Feared maybe, but not loved. Tim looked up at me with a lopsided grin of the somewhat insane. Oh wait, it gets so much better, he said. I didn't like the way that sounded. I begged the witch to just help me let Allie go, to just stop hurting. The witch gave me a piece of paper, a sachet of herbs, and a pen. She told me to write Allie's name 3 times on the paper, then throw the paper and the herbs in the fire. That was it. Just throw it in and the pain would end. I did it, but it didn't work out that way. He paused again here. I hadn't filled up the shot glass and he was waiting patiently. I hastily poured the shot and he continued. As soon as the paper and herbs hit the fire, things in me changed. I didn't feel the pain of Allie's loss anymore. But in front of me stood a ghost, a specter of Allie silently screaming at me. The old witch took ashes from the fire and scraped them into the red bag. She told me that until I found true love, the specter of Allie would follow me, constantly screaming, to remind me of my pain and being separate from it. He stopped here and silence filled the bar. I really didn't want to ask it, but I just had to know. I'm really stupid sometimes. So why not just yeet the bag, I asked. Get rid of it. Yeet, he mocked. Such a strange word. He shook his head and had another shot. He drained most of the bottle. I've tried throwing it away, burning it, burying it. It always ends up back in my pocket. It follows me no matter what I do. Having said this, he picked the bag up off the bar and put it back in his pocket. So, is she like here now, I asked, looking around in confusion. She's right behind you, Dave, he said softly. I yelped and jumped off the stool. I whacked my knee on the bar and stumbled around on one foot, frantically searching the bar for the ghost. Tim was trying not to laugh, or at least I think he was. It's hard to tell when you've manually tried to remove your own kneecap. He pointed to the mirror behind the bar. She's in the mirror, Dave, he said. She's in every mirror or any glass that gives a reflection. He downed the last shot, having killed the bottle. My abuser torments me for all time, and I can never be free. That really sucks, I moaned, not sure if I felt more for him or for my kneecap. I'm sorry, I said to him as he turned to leave. He stopped for a minute. It could be worse, he said, and I felt cold inside. Here it is. Here's where I finally die. He told me all this and now can't leave witnesses. I knew it. Hail the mighty goldfish, to whom I commend my soul in the eternal fishbowl, I thought to myself. Tim suddenly smiled. Have you met the guy with the tentacle porn stash, Dave? He asked. It could always be worse, and with that he laughed and walked out the door. I sat there for a while, rubbing my aching kneecap, and wondering what anyone could ever do to deserve that. This is Charlie with Hellhounds Run, and I hope you enjoyed this story tonight. It's a different story, but it comes from a real place. So, if you like this, subscribe, like, and share. Follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Patreon, and Instagram. And as always, thank you for listening. Have a good night.